Eduardo Martinez. There you are. I knew you were here.
My apologies. I'm under the weather, so I'll try to be clear, concise. My name is Eduardo Martinez. What?
Can you get on the other side of the table? I'm shooting up your nose. Thanks, Mark. Yeah. Oh, much better. Yes, thank you.
No. So my name is Eduardo Martinez. I'm on Richmond City Council, and the biggest problem that Richmond has is finances, not just in the city budget, but also in the community. So both of those need to be tackled. But in order for the city to maintain a balanced budget, we need to do smart planning. We can't just plan at will. For instance, we have the issue of annexing north of Richmond. Doing that will create a $1 million structural deficit. And if you go to North Richmond and you see the part that's in Richmond and the part that's in the county, you can't tell the difference. So the question is, the people who live in North Richmond are asking themselves, why should I pay more taxes if I don't get improved services? So the question is, why are we so eager to annex North Richmond when we know it's going to hurt the budget? The other bad planning is Point Velati. People look at Point Velati and they say that this is going to be a financial godsend. But the cost of infrastructure and the cost of building is so phenomenal that it basically will have to be its own community to exist. And Richmond will get nothing out of it. And possibly we'll have to sign on to a bond to pay for the building. Now, we have a major problem in police staffing. And if you look at the situation, we do need more police. But we don't need more police because we need more police in terms of fighting crime. We need more police in terms of covering the territory. Richmond and Berkeley have the same population, approximately. Berkeley has about 20 more police than Richmond. But the difference is that Richmond police have to cover 3 times the land area, which means that in order to respond over here, if you're over here, it's going to take 15 to half an hour. So how are you going to deal with that? In the city of Memphis, they are de-annexing areas because the area that is de-annexing realized that the city did not have the finances to provide the services. So it was a mutual agreement. You know, let's part separate ways because you're not meeting our needs and you're taking our money. And Memphis realized that they couldn't provide the services. So at some point, we planned a Richmond that is so spread out with communities so far apart from each other that it's impossible to provide the kinds of services that we need. And yet we're looking at taking on more areas outside of the general populated areas of Richmond. So in order to counter that, we need to focus on infill. We need to make sure that we build on McDonald Avenue. We fill the empty lots on 23rd Street. And all the other lots that are creating points of abatement. People just come to the empty lots, they dump. In fact, I had one lot cleaned up. 3 days later, stuff is there. So if that lot was used for a home, that dumping would stop. But I looked at Rebecca Kaplan's language, which became Measure T for the city of Richmond, and I highly recommend that we do that, because the lack of money in the communities is what's creating homelessness. It's also creating major abatement issues with empty lots and people not having the services that they need. So in 2012, there was a charrette done about McDonald Avenue, And in that charrette, they found that people who lived half a mile on either side of McDonald Avenue spent over 75% of their expendable income outside of Richmond. And the question was, why don't you spend it in Richmond? And the answer is there's no place to spend it. So we need to create businesses in Richmond that will keep that money in Richmond. I'm also working on a regional public bank with the city of Berkeley, Oakland, Alameda County, and San Francisco. So we're in talks about that. And if we can get that to go, all of the interest that is collected will remain in the community as opposed to going out to major international multinational corporations. So a regional public bank is essential. Focusing on infill, and job training is also an important issue, and education. So I'm working with the city, with the West Contra Costa Unified School District and the county to create a neighborhood engagement policy, and we want to push for schools that provide wraparound services. And I'm also pushing to have the nurses come in and do a nursing program at one of our high schools so that our students, when they graduate, can go into the nursing field, because we have a dearth of people doing those jobs. So I don't know if that's the...
No.
No? Okay. Go. All right. I hope that you'll vote for me. I feel that I've done an adequate job in working for transparency. I don't believe we have had enough transparency in the city affairs, and we're here for you. We don't need a patriarchal government that decides things for you. We need a government that is community-based, has conversations with all of its constituents, and works for solutions that is for the benefit of everyone. So once again, I hope you vote for me. Thank you so much.